Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. Welcome to my session about adopting a cloud strategy for a large enterprise in the automotive industry. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Patrick Koch. I work as a cloud adoption engineer at AVL. So we are based in Austria, in Graz to be more precise. And yeah, feel free to get in contact with me using those channels. And despite from my work, I love to do some contributions for the tech community, either by writing blog posts or creating YouTube videos, or also being on conferences, giving lectures, giving workshops. So yeah, thanks for having me here. And for all those who attended HashiDays last year in Munich, they probably already know me, and I can see a lot of familiar faces. Thanks a lot, Janusz, for this great picture. So it's always great to be back. And yeah, I would like to talk about our cloud strategy to get ready to become a software as a service provider. But to finish the introduction, I would like to introduce the company to you who have ever heard of AVL so far. Not that much. So it really makes sense to make the introduction. The official name is Evangelist. We were founded in 1948, have approximately 11,000 employees around the world. So affiliates in each country where an automotive industry is established. So our business is the automotive industry. And as you probably know, the automotive industry is in a transition. So also we are. And therefore, despite from our, let's call it traditional products, for instance, engine testbeds, we also have to focus now on new fields, among other things, electrification. What about autonomous driving? What about data intelligence? Yeah. So to give you an example, when I talk about traditional products, what does that mean? So here in this video, you see an engine testbed. So imagine you would like to verify your car or your combustion engine. Then you put the combustion engine or your car on a testbed. You run several tests against it, and you get a bunch of data out of it. So consider measurements according to the emissions, acceleration, speed, etc. And therefore, we also need software applications, and we have a huge bunch of them, approximately 150. But the minority is ready to be migrated to the cloud, to use it really as a software as a service. And we would like to change that now. And therefore, we established the so-called, we call it AVL Cloudification Program. It started last year in summer with following announcement from a local newspaper, so that Microsoft, sorry, this is now just in German, so Microsoft chose us as a global partner. So Microsoft wants to get a foot into the automotive industry, and we are, of course, happy to get some of their expertise according to what does it mean to become a software as a service provider, and to get some consulting, of course. And therefore, we set us a lot of, let's call it, very ambitious goals. So we would like to establish a CCOE, which acts as, let's call it, guardian for the transition, for the transformation to get to become a software as a service provider, focusing on projects, products, innovation projects, sorry for that, IT and application services. We also would like to create, we call it a cloud adoption platform. In one sentence, we would like to provide developer teams a framework to accelerate, to speed up, to put their application to the cloud as a software as a service. In addition, it's not just about technical stuff. We also would like to provide the necessary skills to our employees, to our colleagues, to get ready towards to cloud native. We also would like to achieve the goal to get 50 products ready as software as a service within the next 5 years. And that's also one important point, and there comes Terraform into the game. We would like to ensure that the cloud resources which we deploy, which we need for our applications, stay consistent. And of course, we would like to offer our customers a new way of providing our software applications and simply being ready for the market. To give you more context, I would like to explain your initial situation. So currently, I already mentioned it, we have a high number of software products. And there we have a quite heterogeneous software portfolio, starting from a Windows desktop application, 30 years old, having 3 million lines of code, C++, being a Windows desktop application, until to an almost, let's say, cloud native ready software application, containerized, can be deployed using Helm chart on a Kubernetes cluster. And between that, we have all possible variations. Therefore, as you can imagine, we have a huge technology stack and a lot of derivatives there. We also have a huge number of software development teams. Not all of them work according to Scrum, and they act almost independent from each other. And we have a high number of organizational units. And as you can imagine, it's probably tricky to align on specific things there. Probably know that when you're working also in a company with a lot of employees, with a lot of different complicated organizational structure. The next challenge which we face is that, to be honest, we don't have that experience so far to really host, to really to really operate a software application in the cloud. There we also need to improve. And also very important, what about the security? Can we rely on that each software development team, each application or each department really has enough knowledge to make the software application in the cloud really secure? What about certificates, firewall, gateways, etc.? And therefore, we thought, let's have following adoption strategy. And I would like to explain it to you in this chapter. So how do we would like to enable the full cloudification for the whole company? And one of the main things here is our cloud adoption platform, which we would like to develop. So it's not just about the technical things here. It's also related according to the business aspects. But maybe let's start with the technical thing. So we would like to provide all the development teams which we have, if they want to get their application migrated to the cloud, to offer it as a software as a service, we would like to accelerate them, to onboard them, to get the application quickly migrated to the cloud by, among other things, offering them Terraform modules, which they can use to deploy the cloud resources which they need to ensure that they really fit according to security, according to the performance. We also offer them to operate the application in the cloud. Probably they don't have enough experience according to that. We also would like to show it to them to improve their skills. And in addition, it's not just about the technical aspect. We also would like to check with them whether it really makes sense to get their application offered as a software as a service. So we not just would like to migrate existing software products to migrate it to Azure. We also create quite new software applications. Think of new use cases, for instance, in the autonomous driving assistant use case. And as a CCOE, we would like to ensure that all those things fit. So please be aware, we still a automotive company. So we have, for instance, development teams which have more members who are mathematicians than software developers. So they do math things. They create functions, they develop algorithms. They're probably not that aware how to get now their application migrated to deploy a container on AKS, for instance, and find the proper settings. They should focus on their core competence on their business logic, and we would like to help them to get it migrated into the cloud. And to emphasize that, what's currently our problem when we check the DevSecOps, what we currently are good at is to develop the application, to establish pipelines for build and test automation, to take care about the security, to release it to the customer. That's what we're currently good at. But the right parts, so the operations parts, or what about infrastructure management, what about scalability, what about the monitoring and the cost management, that's what we're currently not good at. And there we need help and support, and we try to gain the knowledge with the partnership of Microsoft and to provide this platform which can be used for all software development teams. To give you some more insights, how do we plan? And currently some of the things are already working. How do we want to deploy our software applications to Asia? So we are using GitHub Enterprise. So for instance, imagine we have GitHub action workflows, which deploy Terraform modules to Asia to get the dedicated resources, whatever it is. So Kubernetes cluster, virtual machine, Postgres, MySQL databases. But I've mentioned that we have a huge variety of development teams and products. But the good thing is there's one thing in common. All the artifacts which we produce, which any of the teams produce, is getting pushed to Artifactory. So whether it's about an executable, a container image, whatever it is, in a structured way. And so therefore, Artifactory works as for our interface to the cloud. So we have several instances, also public ones, so that we can get the container images or the executables in a direct way from this registry to get it in an encapsulated cloud environment, which has nothing to do with our domain. So how can a result of that look like? That's what I would like to show you on the next slide. So here on the left, you can see let's call it a traditional product. It's a software application to do data post-processing. So we had the example with the combustion engine testbed. You get a bunch of data out of it, and imagine you would like to post-process it to see whether the data related to the tests were successful for your use case or not. And on the right, we have a containerized version. The containers are getting deployed on a Kubernetes cluster. And we have the very same engine now in the container, which also generates this final report, which is intended for the customer. So in the end, we get on a share directories, and in each directory we have this report, and that would be, for instance, the final result for the customer. There you have tables inside and diagrams. Yeah, I don't know how to interpret them, of course, but in the end, it's for the customer, and they still rely on the use case. And we would like to scale it, of course. Imagine currently what we get out from a combustion engine, the amount of data we can compare it. For instance, if we would like to if we would like to verify a battery, we get almost the same amount from a single test cell, and the battery has, I don't know, thousands of different test cells. Therefore, we also need to scale to get several instances running at the same time to get it proven. A very important thing is when we talk about deploying cloud resources on Azure, we would like that they stay consistent. And we would like to do that by writing our own Terraform modules. And now I got, according to Karim's lecture, I have now a lot of more input and a lot of work is waiting for us. But currently we create our own Terraform modules. This is done by this CCUE. For instance, in GitHub, we have a repo. All the code is included. We have GitHub Action workflows, which build and push the modules on Artifactory. And from that, we would like to consume it. And when we now would like to create and deploy a Kubernetes cluster or virtual machine, whatever we need for our software application, we need to just consume the Terraform modules and simply provide the variables which we need for it. And the thing is, we don't want that a development team writes its own version of a Kubernetes cluster or an own version of their virtual machine. We want to avoid that. Let's see whether this works out. But therefore, we write a huge bunch of Terraform modules, all the things which we need for our software applications. But as mentioned, it's not just about technical aspects, it's also about business-related things, and that's what I also love on my job, social things. And we would like also to improve the skills of our employees. And I'm allowed, that's really great to do that by establishing a real developer community inside the company and to having cool community events. And therefore, last April, we had a GitHub Copilot hackathon with our partner Microsoft. So we formed several groups and they needed to solve challenges using the GitHub Copilot. So we invited them, we had lunch together, dinner together, we solved the problems together, we did a retrospective, and it was a lot of fun, and the people had conversations with each other. They get in contact with new colleagues, and it was really cool. And for instance, last February, we invited one expert from GitHub. In that case, it was April, and we had a workshop with her, and she provided us a great talk about what's the perspective of GitHub according to what does it mean to be a cloud native developer. So explaining the buzzwords, and April was really cool, and we had some come together afterwards, some smooth conversations, and yeah, that was really great. And we would like to continue with the community events. We would like to also continue with creating Terraform modules, and let's see what we will face in the next years. Currently, the partnership is with Microsoft has a duration for 5 years. So within these 5 years, we would like to get as much out of it to really be able to have a lot of our software applications ready for software as a service. For some of them, it really makes sense. Some of them, they probably will not be, they are not considered to be a software as a service product. But for some of them, it definitely makes sense. So we have technical aspects, social aspects, and some business aspects. So does it really make sense for some products to be a software as a service product? And therefore, I already come to my conclusion for that, which maybe takes a bit longer, because I would like to tell you, as I'm Austrian, I would like to tell you a story about a mountain. So I would like to compare the journey which we are facing, so getting the whole company to the cloud to get the cloudification done. I would like to compare it with climbing on a mountain. Why that? So there is no blueprint for that, of course. There are several tracks which you can follow. Some seem to be easier, some seem to be more difficult. So let's see which track we've chosen. But currently, it starts, so when you would like to start to get to the top on a mountain, you start, of course, in the valley. And in our case, we started on the bottom by deciding on a cloud adopting strategy. So we decided to develop this platform to have a CCUE which takes care about the migration, about having really secure cloud resources deployed, to have some external providers who are supporting us, because we can't do it on our own. We don't have currently the manpower for that. So there in the Valley, it's quite smooth. So you don't have to face some real implementations now. So you really can try to think about and you end up with a strategy. But the next phase, in our case, is now about really doing the implementation of this platform, which means creating a lot of Terraform modules. Of course, aligning with a lot of people. How does it has to happen? What's our goal? What about the business perspectives of the different products? So there you have the next phase. After that, you have the next phase, which you would like really use this platform to onboard the software products. But therefore, please always be aware. Think of that you consider that it wasn't a good idea, then you have to go all the way back, at least to the valley. And that's what we would like to avoid. That's also what you would like to avoid when you want to get to the top on a mountain. But the final thing, that's the most tricky one in the end, to get on the top on the mountain, respectively, to see whether our adoption strategy really worked, is whether the applications are really productive for the customers. Can they be scaled? What about the security? Does it really work? And yeah, that's what we are looking forward to the next months currently. And at the moment, we are, from my gut feeling, here at finishing the implementation of the platform. And now we would like to onboard a lot of different software applications, and let's see how does it work. So that's already the end of my story, of our journey. I hope you liked it. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for having me again. And yeah, thank you. Dankeschön.